something that tends to get overlooked are the hacks for battle and movie. Like, obviously, battle and movie, pretty cool. Casual games, pretty cool. Speed games, pretty cool. But what about the hacks, right? I mean, that's just like this other part of the community, really, but it can extend your casual playtime by a lot. I've gotten a lot of free content, essentially, on my stream, and off-stream, too, because of these hacks. I feel like hacks are just so interesting. They can create these, like, what-if scenarios, whether they are small edits of pre-existing levels, or they're just entirely brand new, essentially. Of course, there's a ton of limitations, but it's crazy what people have been able to do. And to celebrate that, I'm going to do, in my opinion, the top 10 best hacks or mods, or whatever you want to call them. I generally call them hacks. The top 10 hacks as of late 2024, and we got 5 honorable mentions as well, which is why Second Strike is here. I think when I go from one placement to the next, I'm probably gonna have to, like, pause the recording and then unpause it so that you can't see, like, at the top of the, like, at the tabs, like, which hacks are in what order. If my voice sounds a little off, I have a cold. But anyway, yeah, so this is the first honorable mention, is Second Strike. I'm not gonna go over these for too long, but it's just battle, but, like, it's made by Gravity. I mean, not Gravity, Aaron. It's made by Aaron. So it's just battle, but, like, there's a lot of enemies and stuff. However, there are 130 spatulas because there are 30 unique objectives. And some of them are pretty damn cool. Like, there's, like, this downtown combat arena, kind of, but it's much more interesting than how Vanilla Movie handles it. Just, like, there's more platforming involved. And Plank and Knucklehead are in here. The frame rate's abysmal, but the Plank and Knucklehead are in here, and that's what matters. And the bosses, there's, like, a lot more custom stuff going on with the bosses. I don't want to click on parts 2 and 3, because then you'll see what, the titles for the tabs. But yeah, again, it is, mostly enemy spam and some change, like, platform stuff. But, like, I feel like every game that has, like, a modding scene needs something like this, right? Because it's just, like, that Kaizo-style thing, that kind of bullshit, unfair Kaizo style. But this is that, but to a lesser extent, because I don't even like Kaizo hacks. But, like, this isn't quite Kaizo, and also, there's a lot of exploits. I'm good enough at the game to know a lot of exploits and stuff. And I feel like the hack is at its best when you know exploits and know how to get around a lot of things, because there's still a lot of things you can't get around. And I feel like that's what makes it interesting, is trying to figure out what you can get around. But there's also just some really interesting stuff as well. And some things are really overkill, and some things are not overkill at all. The quality is very inconsistent, but again, I feel like a hack like this, it doesn't need to exist, but I feel like there's no harm in something like this existing, fucking hell. There is just, like, people overhate this. I've seen people be like, oh, I played this once, never again, like, it was the most miserable experience ever. And yeah, thinking about playing it is more enjoyable than actually playing it, but, like, even, like, a day after beating this, because I've beaten this twice, both times I've just been like, damn, I kind of wish I could play it again. Like, there's just something about it that just, like, you have good memories over, a lot of problems, of course, and it does have a little bit of a tendency to crash, and some objectives are not particularly unique, and some objectives make me want to die, like Kelp Ring, unless you know how to exploit it, but yeah, like, honestly, I feel like this deserves, like, an honorable mention, because there are hacks that are kind of like this, but nothing does it quite like Second Strike in the SpongeBob modding scene. Alright, for the second honorable mention, we got, Lake of Graves. I don't know why I called it Graveyard of Lakes in the title. The only reason why this is not in the top 10 is because, this was made by Latte. He made, like, basically an updated version of this, which has more tokens, and it isn't, like, objectively better, because that playtime is, like, double the length if you want to complete everything. It takes, like, twice as long, and that version doesn't have a boss while this one does. But I feel like this one, like, I prefer, like, the longer stuff as long as it has a reason to be longer and its unique objectives justify being longer. I'm only bummed out about, well, honestly, getting all the 50 manlies for a token, that honestly is kind of annoying. I feel like you shouldn't have to get them all. I think there's like 10. I feel like you should just have to get like 7 or 8 or something. And also, I do wish the boss was present. But other than that, in my opinion, it is just better. Otherwise, this would most likely be in the top 10. So, spoilers, Latte's other version of this is in the top 10, but if you know the mods, then I feel like that's just kind of obvious, like, its quality is quite high. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it has quite a bit going on, a lot of cool stuff, but, like, I could just talk about it when we get to whatever placement it is in my top 10, so let's move on again. Alright, now we got Puzzled Patrick in a Pickle. I feel like this is the best, like, puzzle mod. It's pretty damn high quality, and, yeah, it's made by Sky So Wise. And look, there's even, like, this thing you can call SpongeBob for tips and stuff. I think that's incredibly interesting. Puzzles are not my thing. I don't like to think, I just like to see the thing and know how to do the thing, but the thing is hard. Like in Second Strike. That's the kind of play style that I personally enjoy. But some people could be pretty into puzzles. You can cheese a couple of them. I cheese a couple of them here. I don't know if the mod's been updated since I played, but this is what I played, so yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah, you do puzzles as Patrick, and, like, a lot of them are pretty damn interesting. Like, this one here, it's like, yeah, gotta throw everything at the pressure plate. I think I exploited this one, I can't remember. And then the one with the TVs had me a bit stumped. I might have cheesed this one, it's hard to remember. Damn, I had a 223 at this point. I fucking sucked. I would only accept a 223 now if it was a no reset. But yeah, again, a lot of it is like throwing safes and stuff. And then we got this, you know, just some basic puzzle. And then you got Chris over here. Chris the Eel. Yeah, this took me a while to beat. If you're not streaming and you actually are not, like, zoning out because you just did a hundo run, and you're actually just, like, you know, thinking, then you could probably do this in, like, 30 to 40 minutes, which I think is a pretty good length. But yeah, puzzles just aren't really my thing. I was able to exploit a couple of them, and a lot of it is to do with, like, throwing stuff around, which makes sense, to be fair. But yeah, I got a little fatigued at the end and started using save states. But yeah, very good, and I would recommend it to anybody who likes puzzle hacks. Moving on to the next honorable mention. For the second to last one, I got Get the Crown, Save the Town, and Mr. Krabs. So this is like if Gesk was a platforming level. It's very interesting. So you need to, like... So there's a lot of little... You know, there's some platforming stuff you gotta do, some sliding around you gotta do, and you need to get to effectively the next, like, checkpoint almost, because you are out of the water right now, so you will die of dehydration unless you get to the next bit of water that you can find. This is not in the top 10, it's, like, barely not in the top 10, it'd probably be in, like, the top, like, 12. The boss is kind of cool, but... I think more probably could have been done with it. There are times where you need to defeat enemies to progress because it spawns like trampolines, and there are times where you don't need to do that, and it is almost always not obvious. And there are like some buttons that you gotta press for like optional content, and honestly, like I replayed this like a few months ago, and I still do not remember how to press some of those buttons. There is like a hard mode, which is pretty cool, but... Yeah, like this is pretty damn good. Like, good, high quality and stuff. It's just the, like... You know, you can be kind of wandering around just even trying to figure out what buttons you're supposed to press, or you might fail, you know, to hydrate yourself because of something, because you defeated more enemies than you had to and it wasn't obvious. But yeah, for what it is, it's pretty fucking good. I like this kind of thing where you kind of, like, remixing a level. And this is not obviously to the same extent as something like BFBB Mix, but I feel like is that kind of idea. I like that repurposing, basically. I like the idea of repurposing. And we don't need to move to number 5 because I don't have video footage of it, but it's just BFB and TSSM practice mods for speedrunning. Those deserve a mention because they just improve your skill level. Like, they objectively improve your skill level. Like, there are a couple things in movie I just probably wouldn't have learned because they take so long to practice. They're such a massive inconvenience. Like, they make you more consistent because you get to attempt the thing, like, more times per, like, 20, 30 minutes, or even 10 minutes. Makes a big difference. Even quick stuff to practice, like rub-it-up skip, I could practice it, like, several seconds faster on average per attempt, which saves a lot of time. But it also helps me practice, like, things that aren't even hard, but, like, it's still just, like, a lot more convenient, like a depression ball for the extra. Like, that saves a lot of time, and has definitely made me more consistent at the trick. Like, if it wasn't for these, like, off the top of my head, I don't remember who made the BFB practice mod, so I'm sorry about that. But Latte made the, TSSM practice mod. And, I think, was it Tetrax who made the Auto CP mod? I'm not sure. But yeah, like, practice mods just make you an objectively better player. You do have to mod your console for it, but, like, it's very much worth it. So now we can actually move on to the top 10, and their placements, there are some I'm still not fully convinced on, like, their exact placements, but everything in the top 3 I'm pretty confident on. Everything from, like, 4 to 10, well, number 4 would not swap with number 10, but, like, you know, give or take a placement, like, everything from, like, 5 to 9 could swap, probably, like, a placement. But yeah, moving to the number 10. Number 10 is Strawberry Lake. I almost didn't put this in, but this is really, really good. Let me ask you something, right? How can you tell that this is a SpongeBob mod? Like, what gives it away from this, from just having this pause, right? Shinies. What else? Yeah, I mean, these logs, maybe? They're from Goo Lagoon. But they've been, like, retextured a bit, so it's not even, like, obvious. It's just, like, if you know the game well, then you could probably identify that. But then what else? Nothing, really, right? Like, look at this. This is genuinely incredible. Like, this was made by, Zepti, I'm not quite sure what they go by now. But Zep would, I guess, be the nickname. I think these strawberries are the spatulas, and then you got these, like, boxes. I think they're, like, toolboxes or lunch boxes or something I haven't played in a while. But yeah, so the reason why this is number 10 is because I feel like Zep outdid themselves with a different mod that they made that, again, if you know what mods exist, it's an absolute no-brainer that it's in the top 10. Like, it's not, like, it is actually quite different from this, but I do feel like it is better than this, and you can tell that this was made before that mod that is going to be in the top 10. So the problems with it, also, by the way, if I criticize something, like, please do not take it to heart. Like, I wasn't going to make this originally because I felt like it was unfair to compare people's works of art, essentially, especially this free content. Like, all of it is good. Like, even anything that isn't in the top 10, like, I don't think anything that I've ever played is, like, bad. Like, there have been a couple things that have been so, like, such minor edits, I was like, damn. Like, building an ISO for this is, like, you know, but you don't even have to build an ISO. It's just, like, a slow thing that I like to do. Although HMM has made things, like, so much better for even just playing, like, 4-minute-long mods. It just justifies it a lot more. So, especially if something small is HMM compatible, then I don't even have, like... Then I really do not mind them playing things that are, like, not huge mods. But yeah, God, and there's, like, a lot of, like, custom things. Again, like, it's just... Like, what fucking gives it away this is a SpongeBob mod, other than, like, 2 things? But yeah, like, this looks incredible. One of the best looking SpongeBob mods that we have, right? And there was custom music in the background, and, like, all these custom... Like, they look so fucking cute. Genuinely incredible work, right? This was Zepp's first, like, released mod. They're extremely talented, yeah. But the reason why this is number 10 is that, like, well, again, like, their other mod is on here, but also... I feel like it's bigger than it needs to be. I don't even think there are, like, that many. I think there's, like, 5 spatulas or something. I don't think it needs to be as big as it is. And I think some of the platforming is, like, a little tight. Or you can go a while without checkpoints, or it's, like, not obvious sometimes, like, which paths, like, what you're actually, like, supposed to do sometimes. But... Oh, yeah, and, well, I guess Tiki's would also give it away, but also, yeah, custom menu as well, like, fucking hearts instead of underwear. Like, oh my god, dude. Like, this is so incredible. If their other mod didn't exist, I'd probably put this to, like, number 6 or something. But yeah, it's just, like, bigger... I burped. Bigger than it needs to be. And again, some platforming stuff, and that's, like... it. But yeah, this is really, 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 really good. Moving on to number 9. Number 9 is Five Nights in BFBB by Gravity. This was originally, like, an April Fool's thing, but it was actually really well made, and Gravity has updated it. He's released an update since, I played it, but I don't know what it changes. But yeah, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not as in-depth. I think on night 1, I think the robot can only appear from one of the sides, or so, I don't know, but it gets a lot more advanced as it goes on. Still not that hard, and there is, like, quite a bit of luck involved in the last, like, couple nights. I did fail a couple times, and I feel like I got fucked on RNG on, like, the last night. But, I don't normally play things like this, but I just think that, like... this is incredibly well made, right? I'm trying to remember exactly when this was made, but I think this was made in, like, 2020 or 2021. The fact that it's this good is, like, incredible. If you are into this sort of thing, then you have to play. You just gotta. But even if you don't want to play something like this, you gotta admit that, like, this is really, really well done, especially for an April Fool's thing. Like, but basically, yeah, like, you gotta check... You gotta check the security cameras to see when the robots are coming. And then if a robot shows up at the door, you have a couple seconds to react and then close the thing, but you can turn the lights on, but I think in this, turning the lights on doesn't drain power. When in original Five Nights at Freddy's, it does. So maybe you could say, oh, it's too easy, whatever, but there are, like, custom modes that you can enable. God, that hammer bot was, like, right in my fucking face just then. And the jump scares aren't particularly scary or anything, so I don't think, unless you're extremely easily frightened, I don't think you really need to worry. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm just fucking spamming the lights, and yeah, Hammerbot on my ass. I think on night 4 or 5, I don't remember, but on one of the nights, like, Robopack can show up. And, yeah. And, then there's, like, custom modes and stuff that you can do, and you can, like, increase intensity. And yeah, a lot of replay value that you can get out of this, and then there's also, like, custom stuff. There's, yeah, the Squidward Suicide at the top. And there's also behind the scenes, and right, if you know me, I love concept art, right? Actually love that shit. Behind the scenes stuff, Get the Crown, Save the Town, and Mr. Krabs has behind the scenes stuff too. But it just kind of tells you, like, how stuff actually works, like here. Above the office resides many assets used to determine which things are active. These assets become visible when certain conditions are met, such as when a door is closed when a robot is in the office. Like, making stuff in BFB can be jank, so I bet there's a lot of jank with this, but if it works, it works. Very early rough draft of the facility layout. Oh, no, this didn't come out in 2020, I lied. So I think this came out in, like, 2022. Eventually condensed for being too convoluted and hard to keep track of, you know. Blackened building models are placed in such a way to give the illusion of outside environment. Camo 1 without, like, the lighting stuff. Like, this stuff is just... I love this, because this doesn't have to be included, but it's like, why not? Why not include it? It's peak. So yeah, a lot of content, extremely well made. It can be a little hard if you like... I mean, but even if you don't like horror stuff, I don't think it's particularly scary. As long as you range from not minding horror stuff very much to actually liking it, then you gotta give this a go. You gotta give this a go. Does what it says on the tin. I just think the lights probably should drain power, maybe. Maybe make it a little hotter as well, but I don't know. Maybe they could just be like a difficulty setting or something. But anyway, moving on to number 8. Careful SpongeBob is number 8, and it is very good, but it has, like, a number of, I don't want to say problems, because, again, that's just, like, really unnecessarily mean to say. The difficulty balancing is definitely inconsistent, though. This is the first movie mod to ever have a hub. The hub is quite small, but it does have a hub. So, I played this in bursts on my stream, and I think that made people less interested in it. I should have made it a sub-goal. I definitely, if I could go back, I'd make it a sub-goal. But now that I've already played it, the novelty is, like, you know... But this is just, like, a Kaizo mod, but it's in the sense of, like, utilizing mechanics. There are tutorials to teach you how to do stuff, and, yeah, and again, like... It is very well made, well thought out, but there's a lot of difficulty balancing stuff, some stuff you can cheese, and Kaizo mods are not my thing. The reason why Second Strike is kind of low-key my thing is because, like, there's a lot of cheesing that you can do, and this is more strategic as well, so this is the hub. There's this one level that's really fucking... Yeah, this French fry one. It is one of the hardest levels. I have no idea why it's in Hub 1. It's really weirdly hard. I gave up here, and I came back to it later. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, I have to click on part 2. There's also other level that's, like, really high. Okay, I don't think you're supposed to... Like, there's, like... Some really cool ideas I haven't seen before, like abusing coyote frames after ledge grabbing. Although here I was just stepping on these. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that. And now I've lost my spin, so you gotta... But I feel like those ledge grab things were kind of jank from my experience. There's like swinging Patrick stuff with like momentum, you know, kind of like SCDA out of bounds, like that kind of thing. There's just, like, it tests a lot of your skills that in ways I have not seen tested before outside of, like, niche stuff in runs. And you don't need to, like, get all of them or whatever. This is one of the hardest in the game as well. It is very hard. There were, like, 2 levels I did with save states. I just couldn't do them without save states. I could have with more time, but again, I felt like people were just not interested because I didn't do this as a sub-goal. I really should have done it as a sub-goal. Like, with this one, you need a bowl at the right time to know when to bash, and it's just... Like, there's usually, like, a manly or something to guide you, but after you picked it up, like, it's just Joa. And, like... I think this is one of the parts... Because, like... Yeah, like... Here... Like, yeah, like, again, it's just how you're supposed to, like, know. It just feels like trial and error, you know, and... Yeah. And then there's, like, this part. There's a lot of... I think I cheesed it. Now, hold on. And now this is part 3. And then there are some things. Some things are going to be very subjective on how difficult they actually are. This is literally just guess jumps. Except in a frame rate I'm not used to. But, yeah, so this was one of the easier ones for me. It did not take long at all. Again, like, some of these levels should have been moved around, honestly. Some checkpoints are weirdly generous, some are not generous in the slightest. It is meant to be a hard hack. I feel like there should be a difficulty setting, and it gives you, like, more checkpoints or whatever. You can also determine how much health you want, but something that's not made clear is that, you can unlock more health. You have to collect extras for it, and those are optional. So I'm glad that that's there. But, like, one thing that's not clear is that, you can actually upgrade your health to 6. And when I found that out in my playthrough, everybody in the chat was like, you can do that? Because everybody thought you could only upgrade to the 4, so there's not, like, a clear indication that you can do that. Also, this has a completely, fully custom soundtrack. I think Strawberry Lake was using a pre-existent track, and Five Nights at BFB doesn't need music, because it's Five Nights at BFB. Sky knows how to make music, and they made a completely custom soundtrack, so, and you can listen to it separately on the channel. I'm hoping that what this video will do will have people check out, or at least replay one of these mods if they played it before. This one was interesting. You got, like, UCB speed, though I was struggling to... And another thing that wasn't clear, I was using a reset button, because that does exist. But that kills your speed, and apparently, if you just let yourself die naturally, then, then you keep the speed. But, like, I didn't know that, and that's something as well that I feel like could have also been clearer. But yeah, I like the idea of controlling a UCB, that's cool. Again, and then there was this guitar glide one. Well, okay, you're not supposed to use guitar glide, so I cheesed it. I don't know if Sky's patched this since. But yeah, like, again, this is really good, but it's just not really my thing. Difficulty balancing issues, not really my thing. Normally, even though it's very well made and stuff. Having to hear, like, the same, like, few seconds of music, because their music resets, also dampens some of the tracks, because I feel like they're all good, but having to hear, like, the first couple seconds of, like, every fucking track, because the beginnings were usually quite hard, is just, like, you know. But yeah, make no mistake, this is very good, and if you're into this kind of thing, I could easily see why somebody would place this higher. But anyway, on to number 7. Number 7 is Pit of 100 Trials. I have some problems with this, which would otherwise place it higher. So this is a kind of like a remake of Pit of 100 Trials from Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, but in BFB. And there's some very interesting stuff, and I feel like this made me better at combat, honestly. So you eventually unlock Bowl, you eventually get more health, you eventually get the Cruise Bubble. So let's start with the bad, because there's not that much bad. This is made by Gravity, by the way. Oh, and Careful SpongeBob was made by Skywise. So, what I like about... I mean, no, saying what I dislike first. Cruise Bubble allows you to cheese things, because you'll have, like, enemies that just can't reach you if you stand in a corner, and then you can Cruise Bubble them. Same kind of thing with Bowl. They, for a while, actually significantly decrease difficulty until things ramp up enough. The second thing is that there are custom, like, as you can see, yeah, 3 underwear, no smelly Sundays, and no invisible spray. Like, there is no reason to get Sunday and invisible spray. I think the Sunday makes you temporarily invincible and makes you faster and stronger, but, like, it's very, very temporary. And the invisible spray, I think, makes you... Enemies can't detect you unless you get closer to them, but because you're usually able to keep your distance with half the enemies anyway, and it's very short-lived, you'd rather just have health. And also, it says it looks like a cap's at 9, but you can go above 9, so that's like another minor thing as well. And now another thing, which I do think is a big deal, is that there are no, like, checkpoints or anything. And that's how it is in the original, but I really, like, it should have been a difficulty optional something. Because, like, I would never play this on console, because, like, the final boss is quite hard. If it was just, like, the 99, like, rooms, and then you got checkpointed, that'd be a bit different, but, like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. If you die at floor 56, you go back to floor 0, which I feel like that's too much. Again, I know that's how it is in the original, but, like, this is a hack that people are, like, meant to enjoy, and I feel like that kills some of the enjoyment, even if it increases the challenge, which is why I feel like it should be a mode. Thank God for save states. I save stated every 10 zones, every 10 rooms. So yeah, also, when you get golden underwear, it, like, replenishes your health, but I don't think you can see that coming. I don't know if there's a way to know that when you stuff. And also, there's, like, this, enemy that you need to kill quickly in one of the later rooms, or else, if you don't, then he, like, shocks the entire room, and the only way you know that is from an NPC on floor 0, and I feel like that's easy to miss. They're like moves, and I don't know why they're there, because you can just guitar them from a distance. I was thinking a movie. You can cruise bubble them from a distance. And even if enemies try to come up close to you, you can ball them, because ball's, like, OP as fuck. But yeah, there's, like, spinners, like, movie spinners in this game, and they have, like, electrical fields and stuff. There's, like, custom tatas and stuff. Like, there's, like, Merv equivalents with, like, sleepy times and chucks. Like, there's a lot of really cool things. The rooms look great. You can pick, between soundtracks in the menu. The final boss is genuinely excellent. You have, like... I say you have no idea. I have no idea, really. I mean, I have an idea of, like, how difficult it is to actually make bosses in this, right? I don't know it exactly, but making something like this would be a lot easier in movie than battle because of, like, I think you have to, like, make events or scripts or something like that, and they're way harder to do in battle. Because it's a less, like, it's movie is a more updated version of the engine, so they updated it so that, you know, it's more convenient and smarter. This is much more of a pain in the ass. And there is so much to this, right? Like, there's a sandy part of the boss, and there's so much going on. There's just so much to it. And then we get to the Patrick phase. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. Yeah. Then we get to the Patrick phase. And again, there's just so much going on. This is, like, easily, like, the best boss in all of SpongeBob modding. It's not even close. Again, it's just... takes quite a lot to get here in the first place. And you could so easily die. I just feel like there should be some sort of easier mode. Like, easy mode. I don't even think it has to really change the enemies, necessarily. It's just a checkpoint every, like, 10 or 20 areas. And then we get to, SpongeBob. And look at this. This is so cool. It could be a little hard to, like, bash at the right time, but... I don't know, you could argue I'm just bad. And then after every hit, you have to do a platforming thing. Now, this could be quite hard as well. They go quite fast. And it just gets harder and harder with every single hit. But again, my criticisms are just, like, some of the custom power-ups, like, they're not worthwhile. Like, I feel like the checkpoint system is just, like, a bit too harsh. And like, I feel like Ball and Cruise Bubble can make things too easy initially. Which I know I complain about, like, lack of checkpoints. But I feel like you could increase the difficulty if you had more checkpoints, I don't know. I mean, you don't want to make it, like, unfair, but I feel like the lack of checkpoints in itself, in my opinion, feels unfair. I don't know. But yeah, so, like, I died there, I would have gone back to floor 0. Like, if you just don't react enough and don't pump health into you, then, you know. Anyway, very good, but if it added those things, I'd probably put it, like, number 5 or number 4 or something. But yeah, now we gotta move on to number 6. I took a really long break, but anyway, number 6 is Floating Block Forever. So, Floating Block Forever is just 20 Floating Block challenges, but I have it this high because it is probably the most consistent hack SpongeBob hack I've seen, right? It is, like, it's really consistent. As in, like, there are, like, no flaws with this basically at all. Like, but yeah, it's just a lot of, like, it's like puzzle stuff. It's not, like, particularly hard. Just scratches your brain a little bit. But yeah, here you can see, like, you know, color-coded blocks. If you step on one red block, then all the red blocks disappear, you know, that kind of thing. There's plenty of stuff like that. Or, like, you need to bounce off of a trampoline for it to disappear, which means you only get one chance. Or, yeah. Like, it's hard to sell it to you if you just, like, but it is a lot cooler than I'm describing it to be. It's all well done. The difficulty balancing is really good. The ideas are incredibly interesting. You get to pick between wanting to be SpongeBob or Patrick, because I'm pretty sure with, like, basically all of them, you can do them with either SpongeBob or Patrick. Skyboxes consistently look pretty damn cool. Like, there just isn't really... Yeah, see, look, like, custom skybox again. There's no custom music or anything, but that's really not necessary. I really enjoy what this hack offers. The reason why it's not higher is because it's just floating block. And obviously that's, like, the whole point. But what I mean is that, like... Yeah, when you think of a 20-token hack, you generally are hoping there's, like, some amount of, like, variety. And there's variety in, like, the puzzles themselves. But what I mean is that, like... I would want to see in a 20-token hack, I'd probably, like, want to see, like, 3 or 4 floating blocks. Like, it depends on how the distribution of everything else goes, but I'm not saying that this hack, like, overstays its welcome or anything like that. I just mean that, like, this aims to do one specific thing, while other hacks, if they are this long and have this many tokens, they almost always do have multiple styles of gameplay, which is preferable. But I'm ranking this above Careful SpongeBob because, even though this has less variety than Careful SpongeBob, it's just, like, its design is just really, really solid. Doesn't take that long to beat either. I did 27 minutes, not too long, not too short. So anyway, let's move on to number 5. Number 5 is the dumbest name of them all, but it's Short Mod B. And it's stupid because look at the runtime, bro. Fucking an hour and 10 minutes. Like, yeah. So this isn't really a sequel to anything, really. I mean, yeah. Anyway, this was made by Wilcon. A Floating Block Forever was made by iPie, by the way. But this is made by Wilcon. I think it's the most recent thing that he's made that he's released. He made it, like, last year. Oh, no, it wasn't last year. When was it? It was, like, early to mid 2024. But this is, like, incredibly fucking good. It's just a full level hack, I think. Or it might be, like... Well, there's multiple areas. Yeah, yeah. So, there's, like, a good number. There's, like, 15 tokens or something like that. I love the blue. Looks very nice. I like Patrick's retexture. Enemies are a little custom. That's always nice to see. Would rather have some custom enemies than no custom enemies at all. It's got not music made by Wilcon, but it does have custom music. This hack is, like, not that hard, but it's also not, like, easy, really. It's, like, medium difficulty, I would say. Leaning more towards easy than hard, really, but I'd still say it's, like, medium difficulty. I mean, it depends. There's, like, this time challenge thing at the end that's, like, fucking... I gave up. Like, it's actually really hard. But yeah, like, what you're seeing is, like, well, this is just, like, the first area. A couple things have been fixed since I played. They wouldn't really change my ranking of this anyway, because usually if, like, a hack has some kind of bug or something like that, you can usually avoid it just by knowing that it's there, so a repeat playthrough is usually not a big deal, but it depends on what it is and how many issues there are and all that stuff. Here's a pretty interesting floating block. I don't think there's any checkpoints if I'm remembering correctly. I might not be remembering correctly. But it's still pretty cool. Yeah, just a really, really big floating block. And then there's like this, there's like a 2.5D thing, I guess. This is like bugged in this. Cause like, I think I like skipped a puzzle or something, and like on accident, cause he Wilcon fucked it up a bit, and you didn't have to actually like do the puzzle. There's like these spinning. I remember this section the best. It's pretty cool, pretty neat indeed. And then there's a Patrick SpongeBob challenge. That's yeah, this is a pretty cool one too. It's just the timing on this was kind of AIDS, if I recall correctly. Was it AIDS? Yeah, it was AIDS. So I don't know if that's been like changed, but yeah. And then there's this other section where because he expected you to play this in 16:9 with like a code or something, and I didn't. So I think he's fixed it so that you don't need to play in 16:9. I don't think there's custom extras. I'm not sure. There was a cool floating block here, and there's also like this part. This part was neat. You just abuse, like, some jumping physics shit to get a bigger jump. Yeah, then you spin stuff some of the jumps. Yeah, this is the part I was talking about, by the way, where I got stuck for a bit. And then there's, like, this, like, time challenge section. I didn't finish it properly. It was kind of hard. And if you use the unlockable task cheat and then try and, like, do the advanced, like... Because there's, like, a secret area, but the problem is that, like, it just kind of... Again, I don't know if Wilcon's fixed it, but you couldn't warp there using the unlockable task cheat, which I do not like. But yeah, like, the whole thing is just fucking cool. Has a number of flaws, but I quite like it. So now we can move on to number 4. Alright, here we have a mod that I kind of mentioned earlier, Valley of the Lost. So this is like an updated version of Lake of Graves. So again, it has quite a few more tokens, but it doesn't have a boss. But it has a lot more tokens, and it looks even better. It has more polish, and the lava was like goo, acid, whatever, like looks cooler. But yeah, it's really well made. It was made like a year ago. Yeah, it was like over a year ago, like a year and a half ago or more, and for its time, I feel like this was definitely one of the best. It probably still is one of the best looking mods. Yeah, very. I mean, you can just see yourself. Like a lot of mods just wouldn't really have like background decoration before. They would kind of have like the minimum, you know. They would just. Anything that you actually meant to walk on was usually, like, some exceptions, but I feel like levels weren't really decorated that much, you know. It wasn't really, you know, the gameplay is the main thing, and people are, you know, it's quite time-consuming process just, you know, making shit look nice, so I get it. But, like, when I saw this mod, I was like, damn, like, in, like, a couple years, like, every mod is gonna look like this, is gonna be poggers. Like, all these skulls and everything, Oh yeah, I mean, I have a couple criticisms of this. Of course, like, no boss when there was originally a boss. Quite sad indeed. We even got a Chris token. I'm trying to show, like, more of the level. Like, I should probably be going into more and more detail, like, as, you know, we get closer to the number 1 spot. God, this move is a bitch. Fucking Jesus. And I'm getting fucked. But yeah, I mean, just, yeah, like, the presentation is pretty fucking solid. The difficulty balancing is quite good. There's a good amount of gameplay. The playtime is pretty good. Like, length. Nothing really feels like padding other than, like, the fucking Manleys, like, 1050s for a token. That's, like, the only one that I'd say is, like, padding. I'd probably avoid that one or repeat playthroughs, honestly. But everything else I want to play. You got this little puzzle thing here. It's like the Cosmic Shake minigames. There's this SpongeBob challenge is good. I think it was, like, the first SpongeBob challenge to have checkpoints, but I could be misremembering. Actually, I think maybe Latte remade the SpongeBob challenge. I can't remember, but this is a well-made SpongeBob challenge. It's fun and a little difficult. I got fucked there, but yeah. This shit bussin'. Wow, I'm so fucking bad. Holy shit. But yeah, again, I have a couple criticisms we'll get to in the second. There's even a guitar challenge, and like, and it's short. The problem with the guitar challenges, though, is that like, well, like this one has 2 visible rings, which is just like, it is just better, but it also makes the thing like no matter what the challenge is, it's always gonna be free. But like, it's probably better than literally just not knowing which direction to. But like, yeah, I don't know, and I think it's pretty cool that the target's one of the eyeballs. Yeah, it's just like I can't really say too much. I'm trying like there's like a disco equivalent here, which is very nice to see. And then towards the end, I'm pretty much just trying to find the fucking 50, which is why I don't recommend it. But yeah, this hack is really good. It's, again, though, the 50s are just kind of and, sometimes you just can't really tell, like, where you're meant to go, I guess. That's, like, a pretty minor thing. But yeah, like, I have it ranked very high because it's just pretty consistently good, and I feel like it was even better for the time it came out, but it's still very solid today. And now we get into the top 3, and I feel like, again, I don't like to compare too much, but I feel like numbers 3 to 1 have like a not like a big jump in quality, but like they have like they're a step up, like a notable, not massive step up or anything, but just like a notable step up. Everybody knew the clock dimension was going to be in the list somewhere. I feel like you all probably knew it was going to be in the top 5 at least. And I have her at number 3. This is probably, like, the best mod, honestly. But there's a reason why I don't have her at number 2 and number 1. So this is made... Valley of the Lost was made by Latte. Clock Dimension was made by Zap. And I originally played this when it wasn't officially released, but now it has been officially released, and fucking hell, it is spectacular, right? So you play as, like, Patrick Wario. Look at this cool, like, charge like it's like a custom thing. And then you got, like, rupees instead of manlies. And you got, like, a custom rupee HUD thing as well. And it looks amazing. And, like... Well, I mean, are you looking at this? Everything looks amazing. Like, all of this looks amazing. The blocks look really good. Like, everything looks really high quality, right? Like, Valley of the Lost, like, looks solid. This looks, like, it looks like it could have been, like, in the game. Like, it looks like quite close to, like, actual developer level visuals. And that is a fucking custom move, bro. Look at it. Look at it. The whole concept of this mod is time, right? Look at, like, it's got clocks on him, bro. Like, genuinely. And that is just, that's just the beginning of it. You have not seen my favorite custom enemy I've ever seen in my actual entire life. Also, extras are fucking emeralds, and, wait, no. Wait, what are these then? Oh yeah, these are tokens. Tokens are like, stopwatches. Like, it's, oh god, it's so cool. And the clocks and cogs and shit everywhere. Like, it's like this feels more like a clock level than fucking TikTok clock. A TikTok clock is like the clock level. And look at this thing. Look at this fucking thing. This is the cutest fucking thing I've seen in my life. It looks amazing. Look at it. That's a fucking slammer. That is literally a slammer, right? Like, look. And there's like custom faces and stuff. Look. Look. And they have custom sounds, too. And this pendulum thing is taken from SM64. And look, running, and then it does a little fucking... does the... I don't know what the face is called, but it does the face. And she's got numbers on her and everything. And it works incredibly, because look, 12, 9, 6. Like, that face because you need a 3 to make that face. Like, it goes with the clock design. Like, it's like the best fucking thing ever. It's so awesome. It is like actual fucking peak fiction. Why is it like that is genuinely one of the greatest like enemy designs I've ever seen in a fucking video game, and I'm not exaggerating. I really am not exaggerating. And like, God, there's a number of tokens in this too, clocks or whatever you want to call them. And yeah, like Zep, like it was already amazing anyway, but Zep like really took it to another level. Like, there's a lot more checkpoints now than before. There's like a little wind-up thing, and look, it cut the, like, look at this. Look at this. And look, that look, like, bro, that's a fucking clock spawner. That's a grandfather clock spawner. Peak fiction. It is genuinely incredible. Like, and we're not fucking done. It's still going. Look at that fucking thing. It's a spinner. And he looks like the fucking, like, Grim Reaper or whatever. And, like, I don't know if that's what he's meant to be, but he looks like a Grim Reaper kind of thing. And he's got an hourglass on his fucking back. And he's spinning around a clock. And those are Mario blocks. And, like, it's so big. I don't even, like, we're still going, like, okay, I do have a least favorite part of this area, but it, like, is the literal only flaw with this mod. We'll get to it in a sec. Also, the extras unlock stuff. I love when hacks do that, bro. Love it. So obviously that only applies to the movie hacks, So, you know, Careful SpongeBob has, like, a couple things, but it's mostly just, like, I think that's the only practical one, is the health one. I don't think Floating Block Forever had any extras. Short Mod B did, I think, but I don't think they actually did anything, is how to remember. Valley, I think it might have had a couple things. And Clock Dimension does. A lot of mods have, like, some kind of, like, custom thing. Custom extras, or they at least, like, do something where it's like, oh, you get mag, like, early or whatever, like, even something like that is cool. This part wasn't even in the original Clock Dimension. I think Zep added this. Yeah, Zep, yeah. And then look, custom fucking menu as well. Look. And you might see 0 out of 3 spatulas there, but you might be thinking, isn't that a movie hack? Yes, it is. And look, you just got options and extras as well. And then look, fish hook hand, and then it's like, oh, what else is there? Like, there's so much fucking, like, there's a lot going on, bro. Here's another thing as well. Because you only play as Patrick, this has been edited to only have Patrick. It's incredible, isn't it? God, I could not get over the Slammer design. It is seriously, like, incredible. There's a token for getting 500 rupees, that's why I'm working on that. I'm trying to show you, like, I'm trying not to, like, drag this on too long or whatever, but oh yeah, this fucking concept art. Oh, I love concept art so much. So we got a render pack, right? Look at this. So we clearly, yeah, you have the design of, like, this enemy. It looks pretty much exactly like how it does in the actual hack. And then you have the move. And then you have, yeah, based on father time. Apparently I'm yapping. There we go. Like, yeah, grandfather clock, and then scrap slammer, old version 3. And you can see, look at my face. I'm just like, I'm shocked that this thing was conceptualized and not put in. This is so badass. Like, this looks like an enemy that means fucking business. She looks pissed off. I wish this was in the hack. It's not criticism, I just wish it was in the hack. It's so fucking cool. And then look at this fucking thing. Look at this fucking thing. It looks so cool. I really wish this was in 2. Like, oh man, actual peak fiction. Was that a spatula? Or was that a token? I think I might have skipped it. I'm not sure. Okay, here's my only like criticism with this. Hold on, we'll get to it in a sec. Come on, hurry up, Rev. Bro, holy shit, that took forever. Wonderful weather we're having. Why am I struggling to... Yeah, like, it's just some of the platforming's a bit hard. Like, the actual thing is after you complete, like, slamming all the buttons, then you gotta do, like, a small little platforming section. But if you die, then you're fucked. Yeah, I think it's... Is it this? I'm trying to, like, basically, like, there probably should have been... Like, it should have saved that you slammed all of the... Or that you hit all the buttons. That's, like, the literal only criticism I have. I'm trying to show you what the spatulas are about, except I can't find them for some reason. And then here's a time challenge where you basically do the level backwards like you do in fucking Pizza Tower. Or, Wilcon's Jailbreak mod, which is, I guess, like another honorable mention. I'm biased towards that one because I told Wilcon to make a jailbreak mod, and then he made a jailbreak mod. He didn't make it anything like I was envisioning it, but it's still, like, very cool. I quite like it, but I didn't include it because I feel like it is mostly just outclassed by Short Mod B, which is another Wilcon mod. Still has the novelty of being obviously a different concept, but I think you can tell that Short Mod B is a more recent mod. I think you can tell it's just like that most people would probably prefer to play Short Mod B over the jailbreak mod if they could only pick one. So you got time challenge. It's pretty poggers. And yeah, like I feel like I've just gone across like why this is so good. But yeah, there's spatulas that you can pick up. I don't really think they do anything. They're just like, I think, extra objectives. I'm pretty sure anyway. Oh wait, no, they upgrade your health, so it's like the equivalent of golden underwear, and they give you rupees. I feel like doing a ILs of this would be interesting, honestly. But yeah, I want to look through the extras again to see if... Oh yeah, and the custom loading screen, if you saw that just then. Look at this. Like... yeah. That was a custom costume you just saw. So, magnetic pickup, I love to see that. That's good for rupees. And then we got Clock Disguise passive enemy, so the enemies won't hurt you. So it actually isn't just a custom costume. It actually does stuff. So, look. They think you're a clock. Like, this is, like, the most peak fiction thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. I want to see the other extras, too. Let's see. Zep's hurry up times. That's like Heavy Iron's best times. I think I gave Zep that idea. Did I? I feel like I gave them that idea, but I'm not sure. Pizza Tower reference, faster cartwheel, and animations. So, like, if you were to do a 100% run of this, I think you would probably try and grab that, like, literally ASAP. Even if initially, like, maybe on the way back, it's, like, faster to grab extras on the way back, but you do it on the way up, because then you can have faster animations for longer or some shit. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like... But yeah, like, this whole hack is absolutely amazing. The reason why it's not any higher is literally just because there's only one level of this. I want to, like, could you imagine a full game hack of this quality? It would be one of the greatest hacks I've ever seen in my life. Like... I'm rating the other two higher because they have a lot more content to them. And because well, this isn't a criticism, but I do get sad at those two enemy concepts that I saw in that pack and we didn't actually end up getting. That makes me quite sad. And there's that one small section I was talking about earlier, but that's literally, like, so minor. It's basically just, like, you can get more replay value out of number 2 and number 1 because they are much longer mods. So it's like an unfair comparison. If we're rating it off sheer quality, this is number 1, and it's not even that close, really. That sounds harsher than I meant for it to say, for it to be, but when I say not close, I just mean, like, I think everybody would agree with me this is, like, the best-looking battle/movie mod. And nothing really has this level of quality control. But now we can finally move on to number 2. I had a really hard time deciding between whether this or the other thing was going to be number 1. But I decided on Movie Mashup being number 2 by a hair. So, Movie Mashup is very important to me, very special game indeed. We were waiting on it for a while, and it finally came out, and it's pretty fucking good. 100 token movie hack, right? To put that into perspective, the second longest movie hack, I think, is Careful SpongeBob with, like, either 20 or 20-something. Or I think it might be, like, 18 or something, but Floating Block Forever and SpongeBob Forever are longer. However, Floating Block Forever and SpongeBob Forever just focus on one thing. So I count Careful SpongeBob as, like, the second biggest movie mod. This is the biggest, and it's not even remotely close. 100 tokens, and I think 53 extras compared to the regular game's 42 extras and 68 tokens. I mean, in terms of, like, objective count, like, this game blows the original out of the water completely. It rivals Battle. It goes, like... Yeah, I mean... God, like, this mod is so... Oh, wait, why do I have part 2 up? I meant part 1 up. Like, so the first 2 levels... Well, yeah, the first 3 levels, kind of, are based on... Mostly the first 2 are based off No Cheese and Depression, and then it just kind of becomes its own thing. So, some lore with this mod is that there was originally... Jesus Christ. There was originally going to be a mod called Movie Blitz. It was going to be a massive, like, 68 token full game mod. However, I gave iPie the idea to... Because iPie made this. I gave iPie the idea to make a demo for it so that people could have a taste of the content. And then it quickly became its own thing. And it was meant to be a smaller version of... Like, it was going to be smaller than Movie Blitz. It was going to be quicker, faster paced. And then this became iPie's main focus. And then anything that they had made for Blitz, they literally just ported over to Mashup. And then Mashup became its own thing. I mean, it was its own thing, but Blitz doesn't exist anymore. It merged with Mashup, and now they are one, except it's mostly Mashup content. So, yeah, it's got, like, a full-on story. It has, like, custom extras and stuff. Custom dialogue. Custom menu, custom music. Some of the tracks are brand new, like, because I think Seth... They make music, they made a few of the tracks for this game. Others are ripped from other games. God, so again, it's like based off of... It's heavily based off movie, but, like... Yeah, like, look at this, bro. A fucking floating block challenge where you do bungee stuff. Like, that's so awesome. Merging the two... Actually, incredible idea. And then, also... The biggest thing, arguably, that this mod does, right? You can collect multiple sandwich tokens in one go. There is no backtracking that you have to do. You can collect every single token for every, like, it's insane, right? Because watch this now, watch this. It respawns you. Now, if you forget a token and then leave the level, then you have to go back and find it, but... The fact that you even get the opportunity, and there's no ring challenges, there's no, like, time challenges, it's actual, like, things you have to go out of your way to get. These levels are kind of, like, obviously, they don't have, like, the same, like, visual quality to them as in the original. They don't have as much, like, you know, but, like, these are clearly, like, significantly better designed than the originals. And, like, here's the thing, right? I feel like people are just fucking allergic to, like, sliding and driving. But, like, well, this hack doesn't have any sliding. But I feel like people are allergic to that shit. But, like, I feel like this proved to probably a lot of people that, like, shit can be bussin'. You just have to make it not a bunch of time challenges and a ring challenge. So, yeah. These levels are short, like, never overstay their welcome. They're just really good. Just really good all around. If you're wondering why the Manleys are so short and the render distance is small, and why the render distance is so short, is because, like, these levels are modified so that they won't be hard-coded 30 FPS on GameCube. And so, yeah, that's, yeah. So yeah, that's another thing. If you're on GameCube, these levels are 60 FPS. And then we got Sands of Time. Well, obviously, you know, you got the No Cheese equivalent, you got the Depression equivalent, and then you got, like, I guess a Sandwich Driving equivalent. I guess this is a 3K equivalent. Oh, wait, no, I'm backtracking. We'll get to the backtracking in a bit. Love the idea of this level. It's black and white, so it's a bit visually lacking, but what I find so interesting about it is that you take, like, portals and stuff to make progress a lot of the time. The concept here is, like, time. It's, like, black and white because it's almost like time itself is, like, frozen, I guess. I don't know. It's, like, it's a pretty interesting concept. A lot of cool things going on here, and there's, again, there's custom extras. So you got, like, this is, like, normally in movie, there's, like, soundboard things, but here, it's been changed to text. So this is, like, Mindy's diary, because, like, you're trying to rescue Mindy. There's less extras to obtain. So, also, you need to obtain 3 extras for an actual, like, you need 3 pieces. And I gave iPie this idea, so I'll take a little bit of credit for this. The color-coded. So you'll know, like, roughly which extras you're missing in a level based off of, like... There's, like, a red one, a green one, and a blue one. So, like... I forget what order they're actually in, but like, let's say that the red one is always the last one. If you've already collected it, but you have 2 out of 3 extras, then it's like, okay, well... And, yeah, like, let's say you have, like, the blue one and the red one. It's like, okay, well, I need the green one. And let's say the green one is, like, is always the second one, then it's like, okay, well, I know it's after this point and before this point. It's almost like having, like, a Chaos Emerald radar sort of thing, except, like... Not as practical, but, like, it's like that kind of thing. And it's just really, really cool. This level is a level that iPie already made, but ported to Xbox and this hack. Good level indeed. And then there's, like, a fucking golf course afterwards, which I love this kind of thing. I think I gave iPie the idea for this as well. God, I'm so fucking awesome giving all these poggers ideas, bruv. I also gave Sky, the BFB mix, I gave Sky the idea of a golf course in BFB mix as well. So, yeah, I think you can tell I like golf courses for SpongeBob levels. Yeah, like, there's, like, a lot of the content in this game is just really fucking good. And then you got Jelly Factory. A lot of conveyor belts, a lot of swinging around, some cool shit. Also, token requirements are, like, a lot nicer in this game. None of the other hacks I've shown so far have any sort of, like, token requirements, if I recall correctly. And then, here's a custom boss. We fight, Skull Guy. If it would let me... Oh, I know, we're going to custom level. Oh yeah, and something I forgot to mention with Pit of 100 Trials is that shit likes to not run at 60 FPS a lot of the time. Not a big deal, you can't feel it that often, but yeah. Also, another cool thing this hack does, is that... A lot of the time, you'll do, like, a pad challenge, and then it'll take you to, like, a more, like, evil, more difficult version of the challenge. Like, it won't always do that, but it does that kind of often. It's cool. But yeah, here's just, like, a skull boss. Got it. It's just, like... And then this level has creature music, which is great. And then you got Krusty Casino. So you got, again, like, yeah, casino level, like, yeah. Like, very colorful and everything. Custom floating block, again. Especially, like, the final section of this. Like, look at this. fucking enormous. A lot more, let's say a lot, there's just more, like, dialogue in this game than there would be, like, in movie. There's more character interactions and stuff. And then this level is pretty fucking cool. I think this one has, Sonic Adventure 2 music. Oh, then we got this level. This is probably the, this is, like, one of the best looking levels in the game. This is when you unlock Ball. And then you get to this, like, sliding section. Hold on, this part's cool, too. I like this part. You like the and then you do, like, a sliding section. Like, look at this, bro. This shit's bussin'. And then, if I fast forward a bit... Like, shit, like... I really like this. I really like this hack. I do have, like, some criticisms that, again, I hope people, if the mod creators watch this, they don't take it to heart or anything, you know, but it's just, like, I can't just glaze the entire time. There's, like, no matter how good something is, there's always something that could be improved in some way, you know? Even if it's just, like, really minor stuff. People actually originally asked me to... make like a tier list of hacks, but then I'd have to put stuff in like D and F, and if they were an F or if they were a D, like, and that's just like, I feel like that's just like, nah. Like, every hack, like, pretty much every hack is worth playing, really. Like, I don't think there's a single mid hack. Like, even something like fucking Elvis Swingers, which is literally just like a meme, is just like, you know, it's funny. Like, because it's free, doesn't take much time to actually, like, set up to be able to play, and because it gives you free content, and it's based off of something that you enjoy, like, how could it possibly be, like, bad content, really, you know what I mean? Unless it changed, like, basically nothing, and was just constantly crashing, unless it's something like that. Like, it's just not, it's just nothing is gonna be, like, bad content by default, you know what I mean? And then there's, like, a custom thing over here. Not over here, but there's a custom... You can in this level, you can, like, shoot. Little thingy. And then... it's exclusive to this level. And I got an extra just then. Peak. And then we got Shadow Shores, which has a lot of moves and stuff. Like, this level is pretty cool. Oh, yeah, throw gun nerfed to not be, like, insanely overpowered. And then this floating block challenge is quite cool. There's, like, black blocks and white blocks, and you can't see the black blocks until the white blocks, like, pass them underneath. Cool concept, because you can either take your time and get a first try, or you could rush it and potentially die a bunch. This is also a very good-looking level. And, yeah, I quite like this one. It's, a lot of sliding. That's not a bad thing, though. Some bungee hook stuff. And this is also where you unlock guitar as well. You actually unlock it for free. It's like a little mini-boss thing you do here. Hold on. Yeah, you just, like, hit these. Pretty cool. It's almost like a mini combat arena, but, like, the objective is, like, a little different. And then you got, yeah, again, like, this level is, like, one of the cooler ones. And then there is one singular guitar challenge. And it's only, like, 50 seconds or some shit. It's cool to have, like... Because is there a movie... Is it a full game movie mod without at least one guitar challenge, you know what I mean? Like... Gotta have my guitar challenge, my beloved. I think there should have also been, like, one combat arena. You know, it's part of the movie experience. And I wish there was, like, at least, like, one sliding level. Sliding levels back when this mod was being made... sliding levels were just, like, fucky. I think they figured out how to make it not fucky. Anyway, we got a ghost in this level, and his name is fucking literally Jeff. And, yeah, and then you can, like, press Y within, like, a certain range to, like, move blocks around. It's fucking cool. And then there's, like, a custom... The Flying Dutchman He's like a different kind of flying dust, and you slam buttons. And then we have, Stitch Swamp is, like, weird. It's, like, a very short driving level. And then it has its own, there are only a few driving levels with, like, with, like, pad challenges. This level is very laggy. Unfortunately, this game has not received any updates since, it came out back in February 29th of 2024. This level's really laggy because of something to do with, like, the tri-count of the circles, the grass circles. So yeah, the level tanks. It tanks so hard that you can easily lag clip. I don't even, because normally you have to lag clip using the menu. If I recall correctly, I think you can lag without even using the menu. And this is on hard drive, so that's really saying something. And there's a side token here. Over in the, like, I don't know if it's this one, but there's, like, kind of like a fillery token here. I'm leaving some criticisms until later. And then you have this level. This level's pretty cool. I quite like the theme. It's like an evil circus thing. Someone should put, like, Bob on Battlefield in Battle and Movie. That'd be cool. And then here's one of my favorite levels in the game. Deep Dark Park. You got these rising platforms, and then there's just like a lot of stuff going. And then you got a Chris section. There's just like this level, like the music is really cool. I like all the objectives. You got Mr. Slithers from BFB Mix. A lot of cool stuff going on. A couple little concept art things. And then here I'm just doing some backtracking. And then the final boss is, like, really cool. It's kind of like a BFB Mix style, like... Hold on. So you do, like, a quiz thing here. So that's, like, the SpongeBob section. I like that both characters do something for the final boss, even if what they're doing is, like, completely different. Why is the internet why has it forsaken me? Is my internet down? It might be down. Let's see. It doesn't say it's down. Well, I'd fucking love to show you more. I mean, you can see when I'm hovering. It's like low-key based off of the BFB Mix final boss, where it's like each hit represents like levels in some way. Like you're platforming on levels from level you're using platforms to navigate. Like, what am I trying to say? It's hard to talk right now, bro. Platforms from other levels are in the final boss, and you use all like themes of in some way, shape, or form. It's like the BFB Mix one. Full-on Mindy model over here. I think that's from Movie PC. Yeah, like, shit's fucking awesome, dude. I do have a few criticisms, though. First of all, I don't know, like... Yeah, I'm not a modder, but in my personal opinion, because multiple modders do this, lack thereof, really, that's the criticism, is that, like, I don't see the point in not updating the mod when the updates in question would be very easy to do. I've never understood that, honestly. Like, with Jailbreak, I remember Wilcon just, like, wouldn't release, like, a small fix because it's only small, even though it's, like, why does that matter? Like... you're still making the mod better by updating it in, like, a small way to prevent, like, maybe a soft lock, or preventing, like, cheesing a section, or making it more clear what you're supposed to do, or maybe, like, slightly, less strict checkpoints. So, like, what updates does this game, like, need? Well, it doesn't need any. But, like, what updates are ideal for this game? There's a number of typos in the well, I say a number. There's like some typos. I think it'd just be good to patch those up. Wow, my internet's actually fucking cooked, bro. Good thing I'm not streaming today. So Also, another thing is that, and this is an important thing, in driving levels, if you press Y twice, you'll respawn to, like, the closest checkpoint. That is important because there are a number of times where if you miss a token or extra, you seemingly can't go back. And that makes backtracking, like, a lot better, because then if you know that ahead of time, then you can basically fix the problem. And, well, like, you don't know that. There's never anything that indicates that you can do that. What else? There's, like, a couple, like, random bugs I can't think of off the top of my head. Nothing big. Okay, here, I can show you Krista now. Oh my god, apparently I can't. Bro, okay. So, like, so that's... Hold on. So, those platforms, from Deep Depression. This is from Route 99. Like... But yeah, the final boss is like a... evil snake thing. And then here are the hourglasses from Sands of Time, and then these are the platforms from Jelly Factory. And then here's, what's that level called? Like, Deadly Driving stuff. Oh, I can feel a sneeze. I don't know if it's gonna happen, though. This is from... Dude, it was like that sneeze was, like, about to happen. This is from Mystic, I think? I love when games do this kind of thing. I love it. And then this is, like, Thundergate. And then this is Stitch Swamp. Like, yeah, it's just neat as fuck. But yeah, very excellent hack all around. I'm so glad it exists, and it took way longer than I thought it would, but we finally have a full game movie mod. We have had a full game movie mod for a long time now. But yeah, but also, for additional things, the ETU code doesn't work. Well, I think there's been, like, a hot... What do they call it? Like, a quick patch or a quick fix or something? So now it is in, I think, but it wasn't for a long time. But it's not, like, an official update, I think. I don't know, it's... I don't remember. Yeah, so... It's hard to think of, like... There really aren't many criticisms. There really aren't. I'm rating this as the #2 best SpongeBob hack. Like, what does that tell you, you know? But I think one thing is that the pacing's a bit off. Because, again, most of the pad challenges were made for Blitz. And Blitz was going to be a lot longer. So, the pad challenges are very long. And the actual, like, in-level objectives tend to be quite short. To put it into perspective, right? In the mashup run, you never do any pad challenges. There's one that's almost fast, but even then, it's just because you skip, like, the literal entire thing. But there are still, like, none that are actually fast in restricted any percent. Like, so the pacing's a bit funky. You need 75 tokens to beat the game, which is the exact same as BFB, so no complaints there. There are some, like, pad challenges that, like, immediately follow after finishing one. Like, you finish one pad challenge and immediately takes you to the other. I kind of wish you could do them in whatever order you wanted. I mean, I know this is meant to be, like, a harder version, but I think it'd be cool if you could do whatever... So, like, some of them are not actually like, for example, you can't play the golf one I showed you earlier until you did the one before, which had nothing to do with golf. Being able to exit, like, pad challenges, by the way, is a fucking genius idea. Again, like, the reset thing. Jelly Factory has nothing to do with jelly. There's, like, these blocks, like these, I don't know what you want to call them, like, buildings, but, like, they could have jelly in them, you could argue, but... And there's, like, some jelly platforms, but I think generally... This level has, like, basically no jelly going on, and I feel like it would have made a lot more sense if it was called, like... The Factory, or, like... Krabby Factory, or... Well, there's no Krabby Patties either, really, but... I don't know, like, something, just factory of some kind that isn't jelly. Let's see. You can soft lock yourself out of, I think, one of these deadly driving tokens. I can't remember how you do it, though. You can't upgrade Ball, but that's probably a good thing. I wouldn't call that, like, a criticism. This level in particular is, like, if you don't know to reset the paddy wagon, then you can get fucked. I think, Krusty Casino, I feel like there are other ways that if I were a modder, I personally, like, if I were to conceptualize a casino while keeping things realistic, because I feel like Krusty Casino is probably, like, the worst looking level, probably, because it just has, like, colors that I feel like don't really, like, they just kind of, like, they just stand out, and that's kind of it. And when I think of a casino, I think of, like, I don't know how you would implement some stuff, but I think of, like, you know, roulette tables and, like, imagine if one of the pad challenges, like, took you to, like, a roulette table SpongeBob challenge, or a pinball machine, or even just in-level, maybe you could, like, maybe there were doors, and depending on which door you get to go through, like, you have to, like, roll, die, and then that, you know, just stuff like that, or, like, there's, like, a table where you can just do any kind of betting for, like, manlies, like, you can gain or lose manlies. Maybe there could have even been, like, a big objective with that, with the, like, maybe you infiltrate the casino in a way where, like, you break into a vault and, like, grab a bunch of money or something. I don't know. I know the whole thing is, like, rescuing Mindy, but maybe, like, the plot could have been, like, they need that money so that they could repair the paddy wagon because they don't have the paddy wagon anymore. I don't know. I think there were, like, a lot of interesting ideas that could have been done with it that would... I still like the level, obviously, but it's probably my least favorite level in the hack, even though I still think it is pretty solid. I feel like people are gonna think I'm a meanie, but no, I'd say all this with love. Where is Krusty Casino? I'm struggling to find it on the thing. Jelly... Where the fuck is Krusty Casino? Oh, there it is. Yeah. A couple of the extras are actually really hard to grab. You need, like, literal perfect jump spacing. I don't know why. The slide here is janky, but in Mystic, but that's literally just a movie thing. But that's why I think, like, having, like, a driving level to compensate could have been cool. Oh, yeah, I forgot to even... This is also one of the least impressive-looking levels, but I still, you know, quite like the level. There's, like, this gimmick where you can, where you forcibly switch between SpongeBob and Patrick. I think that's such a cool idea. And I love this, this challenge over here. We have, like, I think it's, like, cruise boost speed. Speed. Well, I think it's faster than... Isn't it faster than cruise boost speed? I think it is cruise boost speed, but you have better control because you don't have, like, a force, like, pushing you as much. Shadow is also, like, this hack, like, for when it was made, it doesn't look below average, but I'd say its overall presentation is, like, average, which is more than fair for a hack this fucking long. Like, that's the reason why I rank this hack, because, like, I feel like, you know, I have played, like, full level hacks, where it's just, like, a level, where, like, that individual level, is, like, better than, like, the average level in this hack, but but all these levels are good, and there's so many of them that, like, you just get so much more content out of this compared to something like Clock. Even though I love Clock to death. But yeah, I think, again, like, one combat arena would have been cool. Like, at least, like, one sliding level would have been cool. Maybe you could have even upgraded Ball with, like, an extra or something, like a late-game extra. I don't know, I think that could have been interesting. But, yeah. I think the main thing is that, like, a lot of objectives you can grab, like, very quickly. Like, they're very much, like, side things that you grab on the way. Like, this hack, just like in actual movie, is very, like, go from point A to point B, but then there's, like, point C objectives that are very short, generally. Not too short, because the pad challenges changed that pacing, but if I can provide an example of what I mean, if I can find fucking Mystic. Like, quite linear, but this is what I mean, right? Here's a token that's, like, pretty much free, because, like, you just ball, 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 and then you get a token. I think I said extra a minute ago, but you get a token. And then here, there's obviously, it isn't literally just grab the 3 keys, you gotta, yeah, like, I died there. You pick up the 3 keys, and then you get a token. And then do a little, basically the equivalent of a side scroller, you get a token. A lot of objectives are, like, go out of your way for, like, 20 seconds or something, or 30 seconds to grab this random token that isn't that hard. And that probably sounds harsher than I'm wanted to be. I don't think there's really anything necessarily wrong with that, but it can make individual objectives less memorable. I'm not saying that this would have been better off being a 68 token hack, but I'm saying that, like, when it comes to making 100 objectives, it's hard to make every single individual one matter. And for the record, like, this would be, like, a criticism I would even have in something like Banjo-Kazooie, and I quite like that game, and everybody loves that game, and, like, because all the levels are so short and small, and everything is so close to each other that, like, individual jiggies can tend to, like, not matter that much, and this hack kind of has that problem. I mean, it's not really even much of a problem, but, yeah, like, I think in future, like, I know, like, iPie wants to make Mashup 2. In my opinion, I think it would probably be better off being 68 tokens. It's not like the hack has 32 tokens of filler or anything. Like, I'm not saying it's filler or anything. It's just that, like, if you put the same amount of hours into Mashup 1, or into Mashup 2 as you do with Mashup 1, but Mashup 2 has 68 tokens, then each individual token is probably going to have more effort put into it. You know, you can't just spend, like, years and years and years working on a fucking hack, you know what I mean? And I think that's, like, everything. This hack is really, really good. It is pretty consistently good. I enjoy, like, there are no bad objectives in this game. There are no objectives I want to actively avoid. That's another thing. Because the objectives aren't, like, super out of the way, I don't mind grabbing, like, any of them, which in itself is actually a benefit. None of these overstay their welcome. I don't want to avoid any of these. Like, I'm trying to think of what the worst tokens are in the game, and, like, maybe that sky one with, where it, like, lags. Maybe. This one. Because it's laggy. Which is why I think an update, because an update can be released to easily patch this out, so that patch this issue so that there's no lag. Like, this is like probably the only. There's 2 tokens here. These are probably the only 2 tokens I would like prefer not to do than do. because of the lag. And when I say, like, prefer not, I mean, that's, like, because then I'd only be missing 2 tokens in the playthrough then I would actually rather grab these, because if I'm getting 98, then I want 100, you know what I mean? But, yeah. Like, I really cannot give this enough praise for, like, well, how much content I've gotten out of it. It's a cool run as well. How cool a lot of its ideas are, how, like, really good most of the levels are. Like, I fully trust, if iPie makes Mashup 2, that's gonna be very good. Especially because they wanted to improve the actual, like, the visuals of the levels. I wanted to add more, like, background details and stuff like that. I reckon it'd be an absolute banger. And for number 1, drumroll please, we have fucking, BFB Mix. Like, when you sold the number 2 one, I'm sure everybody knew what number 1 was gonna be, but I had a really hard time deciding between the two. BFB Mix came out in, like, August 2020, but I really do think that it has stood the test of time, even though it's gotten, like, visually, it has aged even more than it had back then. And the Xbox, because Xbox Battle's kind of fucked, stuff is too bright. I feel like it'd be easier to start with the criticisms first. There are objectives in this I just straight up don't want to do, which is why it was so close deciding between Mashup and Mix. It was really hard to decide between the two. Because, again, in Mashup, I want to do pretty much every objective. In this, there are a few objectives I genuinely do not want to do. So here's like a TLDR of, like, how I feel about Mashup and Mix, right? If I had to, like, 100% either Mashup or Mix against my will, like, I had to 100% either one of the two. I was allowed to pick between the two, but I still had to do it, or else I'd die. I would pick Mashup, because I want to do everything. But if I had to beat the game, just beat it any percent, I would pick Mix. Because Mix's individual spatulas have more going on and are more memorable and feel less like I don't know, like the spatulas tend to feel less like side content and have like more actual like depth going on. So what this hack does that Mashup does not do, really, is that these are actually heavily based off the pre-existing levels. So there's Jellyfish Fields, there's Downtown, Lagoon, Rock Bottom, etc., 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 everything. And I have played Mix a number of times, and I don't really I play like once a year or something like that, or maybe like 1.5 times every year or something, so like twice in like 3 years. And again, you can tell that visually, and because this is made by Sky would 1,000,000% agree with me that this doesn't exactly look particularly good, but I feel like it has its own charm. Like, you know how like Second Strike has its own charm because like it's like, even though it's like enemy spam shit, like this has its charm. Even though it looks really blocky, it gives the vibe of, like, a really old mod. This was the first ever full game mod. It still is, like, one of the only ones. I think you can kind of, like, tell. But, like, that's a novelty. Like, you go back to... You don't just go back to this hack to, like, appreciate history. It's still good. It is still good. Like, what are... I mean, there aren't really that many criticisms. Visuals, but again, that's not a big criticism. It really isn't a big one. Like, this is a very minor thing, but I was a tester for this hack, and we were deciding, like, what one sock to remove from JF, and literally everybody wanted to... Yeah, I complained about it in this, right? There used to be a sock over here And they just fucking, everybody except for me removed it. I wanted it gone. And it was replaced by a sock that you can literally see in the distance and does not, and most people would not miss. I really, really don't like that. And I feel like I was the only one in that conversation making any sense. TBH. But anyway, this shit's cool though, because, like, yeah, see, that's the fucking sock over there. Like, how could you possibly miss that unless you're blind? Like, bruh. But anyway, you plug up a volcano, and then you fucking do a custom King Jellyfish fight, and it's a time challenge, and you use SpongeBob and Patrick. So here, you switch to Patrick. And the time is generous, so I would say a criticism is that sometimes you don't know when to switch to SpongeBob or Patrick or whatever, but it doesn't even matter because you have so much time. And then you do a Patrick thing, and then you switch to SpongeBob and you bash that, and then... See, here, you might think to switch to Patrick, but you don't need to. Or you don't want to, even. But yeah. Very good level. Downtown has a really interesting concept going on. So the first area is actually like a mini downtown, and then area 2 is like a fucking huge downtown. So you got a very small one and a very big one. And I thought that concept was incredibly interesting. And I like having to platform over these antennas. There are a number of times in this hack where you can, like, skip things, like, and it feels unintentional, but it's still, like... I do have a criticism coming up. But that's basically the gist of the criticism, but I can go into more detail in a sec. But it does occur in this level where it's like, there are a couple things where, to this day, I don't even know if you're, like, meant to do some of them. Also, another reason why I picked Mixer number 1, it's very, like, its humor is pretty good. There are even more characters to talk to, and the humor is, like, pretty solid. Like, it's a little more cynical in this game, and the characters are a little more, like, dickish in this game. Whatever, they're slightly out of character, but in, like, a fun hack way that you would expect. It still feels in character, but just a bit snarky, a little bit of, you know, cynicism. Is that a word? I think it is. But yeah, here's what I'm talking about, right? I don't know if you're supposed to be able to make it up here from going here, because it skips, like, this whole section that you're supposed to do, and I don't fucking know. Accidentally tapped my mic, and it moved away from me, because I'm using a mic arm. I think you can soft lock the cannon spatula, but I'm not 100% sure. I want to wrap this up a bit. I'm running out of breath. But yeah, there's some cool SpongeBob stuff here, and like, and then wheels, and then there's a little boating school thing as well. It was pretty neat. And then Goo Lagoon. I gave Sky the idea of this, so I'm pretty proud of it. There's like, the concept is that in Area 1 of Goo Lagoon, there's like these 5 castles, and you have to like defeat enemies in each castle to pop a balloon. So it's like the kid spatula, but like you fight enemies per like castle, and they kind of individually checkpoint you. Is like a really cool thing. And then there's obviously Goo Lagoon Caves, and then there's Tiki Cup stuff. I like that. And then custom Poseidon boss. It's very cool. Like, watch this now. So you, like, do stuff with the acorn, and then you get bounced, and then... Yeah, like, it's really cool. You can cheese this boss, like, really fucking easily, but, yeah. Then you have a Tree Dome equivalent, and then you got Rock Bottom Museum's pretty cool. I kind of don't like you have to wipe all the enemies, kind of, and then there are like sections of Rock Bottom that I feel like are like longer than they need to be. Same with Mimile. Like Mimile Area 1 is like really long for having one spatula. I feel like it could have been shortened a bit. And then you got Sand Mountain. You need to like get tickets for the gates or whatever. It's pretty cool. One of the time challenges is a little tight and has like probably a few too many spikes. Robopat boss, pretty cool. Yeah. I like it. Also, again, Sky made remixes of the original music, so it's all custom. Kelp is unique. It follows the original the least because there's no loads, or you don't have to. Everything is loaded in at once, which means the frame rate's a little shoddy, but it's mostly fine. Interesting concept, but I do feel like it tends to make things a bit too cramped. And also this, again, like cheesing objectives thing, is notable here as well. You can literally just like jump to the spatula. You do not need to use the freezy fruit. And then another objective over here you can just do with cruise bubble. Like, yeah. There's also a Patrick duping thing that you can do. There's Krusty Deluxe stages, and I quite like the Krusty Deluxe stages, but I feel like the shiny requirement is actually too low. They're all 3,000, I think, but like you will have like more than you need. A lot more than you need. But yeah, I think I did the Krusty Deluxe stages kind of late. I usually get a bit confused in this canon section. I kind of sometimes struggle to figure out where to go, whatever. This section's amazing. This is one of the best parts of the game, where you just, like... You have to hit the buttons in time, and then get back on the ship, and if you fail, then you reset. Like, I fucked up there. And then there's this boss is, like, too easy, honestly. So yeah, like, you slam that, but then, like, I don't see what the point of this is, because it's, like, you just ball here. And again, it's too bright, but that's just, like, battle Xbox shenanigans. I'm just glad that it's not super long like the original Dutchman fight. Dream is my least favorite level in the game, unfortunately. I feel like it's a little complicated to, like, figure out where to go at first. Squid's Dream is too hard. One of Sandy Dream's objectives is kind of annoying to, like, locate. Krabs' Dream does not exist. And Patrick's Dream is pretty poggers. Like, look at, like, the Squid's Dream is just kind of a bit much, in my opinion. I think in this playthrough, I got absolutely fucked at the end. I'm trying to, like... Was it here? No, I think it was, like, but I jumped when it was rising before, and it just, like, literally didn't do anything. Also, an objective at the literal very beginning of the level is, like, incredibly easily cheesable. But yeah, this is, like, Patrick's mind, but, like, actually in the game, and it's fucking sick as fuck. Look at all this Poggers content. I love content. There's a sock there, too. Patrick's socks are generally pretty enjoyable again in this game. I don't really care for Sandy's Dream. It's not obvious where you're supposed to go, and it just takes too long to get the main spatula. And then Krusty Deluxe stages. This replaces the crab spatula, so this shit's, like, actually insanely bussin'. So you got, like, a rooftop style thing. And you destroy the vents and then get a clarinet. Very cool. I don't know why it's the first one, though. I feel like this one should be the first one. You can actually just buy whichever ones you want. You don't have to do them in a specific order. But I'm just saying they probably should still be ordered in a way that makes more, like, sense, in my opinion. So the GF ones probably be first. But yeah, then we got Jellyfish Jumble. It's just like a little arena thing. Pretty cool. Short. Get shinies from it. And then this is just like a basic pattern thing. This is cool. Like, got quite a bit of variety. We have platforming and time challenge stuff. And then we have like just combat. And then we have like a little, you know, puzzle thing. This is from a mod the Sky made ages ago, and they just like ported it. I think you can tell that it's like very old. Even by Mix's standards, like, this individual level is quite old. And it isn't a particularly good level, but it's just like a novelty thing. Like, if you know that it's just like, I think it's the first mod the Sky made, I think. Then, like, that's like the novelty. But you go to birthday party, and then you just have to do a little thingy, and then you save them, yay. And then you go spatula. The music's about to end, I'm just gonna click on a random part. Mount Don't Fall Off is probably my least favorite, because the whole point is that there's no checkpoints, and if you fall off, you fall off. This goes on for quite a while, and I feel like it's just a little, like... I feel like it's just too discouraging to, like, fall late in. Like, I feel like it should either be shorter, or there should be, like, at least, like, one checkpoint. I know it's, like, literally the point, bruv, but, like, I don't know, like... I feel like a lot of people, like, if they had already played this game before, and they'd already 100%ed it, and they were replaying it, how many people would be like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, the first crabs spatula I'm gonna do, easily Mount Don't Fall Off, that's, like, the best one. Like, I'm just, like, again, I don't want to be mean, but, like, I don't think anybody's gonna say that. I feel like it's probably one of the last ones that people would want to do. I think one of the first ones people want to do is, like, Jellyfish Jumble, because it's so short and you get, like, some of the manlies back. But yeah, like, it's still going. Just a bit too long. So this is one of the spatulas I don't want to do. And then I don't want to do a couple Dream spatulas, which also means I can't get a Patrick spatula. So there are, like, 4 spatulas I don't really want to do. And then this is the golf level I was talking about. Pretty neat. It's a bit jank, but I like it. I like Mashup's golf level more, but yeah. And then we got Switchy Business. Like, this is an excellent concept. I think Sky updated the mod to be, like, for it to be a little less jank, this part. Oh yeah, you can also buy sock hints. So that offsets, the crab spatulas being too cheap by a little bit. Like, you can get sock hints. That helps a lot with, like, trying to figure out what stuff is. So, like, I'm really glad that that exists. And also the soundtrack, changed to be, like, stereo instead of mono. But, yeah. Very excellent. And then this is obviously too fucking bright, but what are you gonna do? For this one, you just have to kill all of the robots on the slide. So, but it's kind of easy to miss one, so you probably need, like, 2 trips or whatever, but it's like hard to steer, but yeah, this is a good objective. And then Mix has the exact same thing of, like, oh my god, this is literally JF. Except this one does it per individual hit. Because of that, I feel like it goes on a little long. I think a couple of them could have been merged. I don't know which one specifically I'd want to merge. Also, another thing as well is that, well, let's get to the Dream one. So this is, like, the final hit. So you expect it to be, like, the hardest. Is it really not gonna fucking load? Oh, wait, there we go. It's just Krabby Patties. So, yeah. A little anticlimactic. And then, when you get inside inside the brain is cool. But, like, probably the best part of the entire hack is probably the first phase of RoboSponge. The second phase is definitely, like, has less going on, unfortunately. So that can also make this feel a little anticlimactic, I suppose. Again, I probably sound much harsher than I mean to be. I love all these hacks. Like, even all the ones that aren't in the top 10. Even ones I've seen people criticize, like Second Strike, I really, really care about. You know, this is a celebration. You also get a slightly custom 100% ending if you beat the game 100%. Yeah, I think, yeah, Dutchman's a really good level as well. So yeah, this game, basically, visually is aged, not the best. Crab spatulas are too cheap, and, like, some objectives I genuinely just don't want to do. But, like, it has, like, the most valuable content. Each objective feels like it offers something. The humor is very good. Like, the concept of the crab spatulas is excellent, and a lot of the crab spatulas are excellent. The remix music is great. And it feels like such a well, it feels like it was made with so much love, I suppose. I would love for Sky to make movie mix, but that's like literally never happening. But yeah, hopefully I got the point across that I am really, 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 really proud of the modding community and everything that they have accomplished. And in 5 years' time, we're just gonna be getting even more crazy mods. I mean, there are mods that are coming out, like, soon, that I know are going to be great, dude. BFB Deluxe, where it's BFB, but with 100 extra objectives, and, like, if you've seen all the screenshots and trailers, like, you know, by objectives, I mean objectives, like, there's a lot going on. Like, and there's 100 of them. Like, that is going to be the best hack. I'm so positive it's going to be the best one. Gravity's making it. I think I've heard, I think if I'm remembering correctly, the Zep has been cooking in the background. We'll love to see some stuff with that. Will Connor's working on Short Mod C. Actually, he might not be calling it that anymore. It might be, I don't remember. But he's making, like, a Second Strike version of movie, but it has more of a focus on platforming instead. I know that's going to be really good. Koopa Eliminator is making a Mario Kart mod. I haven't played the demos yet. There's like 2 demos released. But when the full thing is out, that's probably going to hit my top 10 as well. There's a BFB beta mod. I don't know if that would hit the top 10 because, like, it probably isn't different enough for me to, like, but I would definitely want to play that on stream, for sure. Very cool idea. And I feel like it's gonna probably come out, like, almost certainly gonna come out, like, early to mid next year. Mashup 2, God knows when that's coming out, but I'm pretty sure it will come out one day. And the last one that I can remember off the top of my head, what's it called? The movie collab mod. So a bunch of people have made levels, and they're kind of, like, stitching them together. There's a hub world. There's, like, a hub world and everything. And people are making the custom levels. And again, like, stitching them. And that, like, they have tried in the past to no avail, but, like, this time it's, like, actually gonna happen. It's been in development for a long time. I don't think it's coming out this year, but it'll probably come out, like, early next year. I don't know how many tokens there are going to be, probably like 30 or something, but I don't know, and I don't know if there's any driving levels, but I know there's a sliding level at least, and a bunch of platforming and stuff. It's going to be very cool, and I think there's a boss. It's going to be great. And again, even if I didn't say a mod in the honorable mentions, like, again, all the mods are bussin', like, you know, Patrick's Nightmare, God, my memory's bad right now. I love the concept of custom SpongeBob. It was like Clock Tower. Not Zep's Clock Tower. Like well, that's Clock Dimension, but there's like Clock Tower. A lot of really cool mods. But yeah, I mean, modding for these games has been very successful, and toss modding is beginning to get better as well. And some people have even done Ratatouille mods. And the modding scene is probably just going to keep getting bigger. It's going to keep evolving. They're just going to look better, have even more valuable content. And it's going to be great. I already know. Like, I'll be looking back at this list in like 5 years, and I bet a lot of new mods would be in my then-present top 10. But anyway, I think that's everything. Long live the modding community. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.